Tengo que ir aquí a hablar con este pavo. A ver qué dice este.
If things are so bad, what do you propose to do?
It's been too hard for too long. It's time to revolt. We must take matters into our own hands.
Pues nada, tomar las armas que ya sabe lo que pasará.
You should be careful. If you keep attracting attention this way, the guards will lock you up in the dungeons, or worse.
Perhaps in the time of Lord Reynald, the Curt. But do you see many guards pacing the streets now? The army of River Spring is but a shadow of what it was. You obviously know nothing of the misery we suffer here.
That may be, but I do know that violence is answered with more violence. This path never ends well.
We're already suffering. What is it to us if we die of hunger or by a sword?
What has happened here? These lands were once thriving.
It's the Lords. It's been too long since they cared about what happens in their own lands. Neighboring lords have taken the chance to grab some of our land, and nothing is
Y no se ha dado nada para impedirlo. No se ha hecho nada, perdón. Está muerto, las cosas no harán más que empeorar. Debemos hacer algo.
But there are still Sarwicks in River Spring.
Don't make me laugh. The eldest fled years ago. As for the others, they're no better than he. Anyway, this concerns only the people of River Spring, stranger.
So be it. I pray that your choices will not lead you to reckless acts. May R'hllor light your path through the shadows.
And what is a river town without merchant ships?
Vamos a ver ya ir al castillo. Vamos a entrar por aquí.
Forgive my boldness, noble stranger, but I cannot let you walk into certain death like that.
What do you mean?
Well, I'm not sure of the customs in the free cities nowadays, but I wouldn't dream of entering Westerer's arm like that. And yet, as the smith labours day and night for us, it so happens that I sell the finest weapons. Blunt, cutting, perforating. You know what they say, my lord. Don't buy your blade until you know what you plan to stick it
Armaduras de
into.
aguafuentes.
Tell me more about cutting weapons.
The most popular. I know of no weapon passed down through families that is not a sword, my lord, and there are good reasons for that. Cutting weapons are especially designed to fight against light armor such as leather, and even the skin underneath. Do you need more information?
I have things to do.
Muchas gracias.
Don't hesitate to come back and see me in the Merchant Square. I weep to see you so ill-equipped.
Veros tan mal equipado en esta ciudad. Ah, tú lo quieres es que compremos, Estamos en crisis.
Simple clothes will not protect you.
Vale. Perfecto. Ahora vamos a entrar al castillo.
Nah, couldn't be. We haven't seen him in 15 years.
Pues nada, venga.
Halt, priest. This town is in mourning. Access to the castle is closed during the ceremony.
I'm actually here to attend Lord Sarwick's burial.
I'm afraid that's not possible. I'm under strict orders to only allow entry to close kin. With the villagers' current grumblings, we don't want to risk problems.
I am Lord Reynald Sarwick's eldest son, and I am here to attend my father's funeral.
His eldest son? Do you take me for a fool? I have been at my post for more than 5 years, and I have never once seen your face.
It has been more than 5 years since I left River Spring. Please call on Mr. Harwin. He knows of my arrival.
Well, we'll see about that, but I doubt he'll come here for you. The ceremony's about to start. John, go find Maester Harwin.
Bueno, pues a esperar hasta que venga el maestro Alwyn.
Why has John gone for the Maester?
Ryman, it's me, Alistair.
Several hells. Alistair? Graydon, I told you only family. That excludes peasants, dogs and cravens who abandon their families.
Enough, Ryman. However long I was absent, this house is still mine.
How dare you? You disappeared without so much as a goodbye years ago, and now you return as if nothing happened.
The reasons for my exile are mine
Los motivos de mi misión son míos y de nadie más. No te debo ninguna explicación.
Care about your reasons? It's your fault that Lord Sarwick is dead.
You've lost your head, cousin.
Your departure destroyed him. He was never the same again.
Your judgment is clouded, Ryman. I can smell the ale on your breath from here.
What? Stand back. I'll make you eat your words, priest.
Uy, cómo mola este ataque, este personaje.
Enough.
No me ha quitado ni vida,
Do you
chaval.
not think we have enough dead here?
Mr. Harwin?
Alistair, finally. I prayed for your return.
This traitor no longer had his place here, Maester Harwin. He abandoned his castle and his family.
7 gods. Get a hold of yourself, Ryman. I wrote to him to invite him to Lord Sarwick's funeral.
I prefer to leave than to hear more of this.
Ja, pesado
Alistair,
este de la
what a
guardia.
relief it is to finally see you. I had help from my contacts in Bravos to inform you of your father's death. The funeral will be in the Godswood. The ceremony has already begun.
Why is it not
Pues
held
nada,
at
vamos
the
a ceremonia.
It would be if it were not in ruins. River Spring is suffering on all fronts, I fear. Let us go now. Come with me, Alistair. Let us speak as we walk.
What
Venga.
happened here, Maester? How could my father allow things to get to this point?
You know, after you left, Lord Reynolds changed. He began
Ya lo
to
ha dicho
live
2 veces.
more and more in the past, and stopped taking care of his duties. Your sister quickly found herself managing more than she should have.
Eliana helped my father govern?
Well, these last few months, she's practically run the house herself.
Y los
In
hermanos,
spite of
macho,
her
no están
efforts,
panados, ¿qué?
She was unable to slow the inevitable ruin of her lands without a lord. But all is not so dark. Many of your father's vassals remain faithful to their oath. They have all come to the burial in order to
Todos han
honor
venido
his
al entierro.
memory.
A
We
honrar
will speak of
su
all
memoria.
this again after the ceremony. Let us make haste, I beg of you.
A ver, bosque de aguafuentes. Empieza a estar ya más entretenido este juego, ¿eh? Tiene buena pinta. Así que subiré todas las misiones que pueda al canal. A ver. No me puedo mover. Ahora me da bofetada.
Hello, Red Priest. I am Lady Eliana Sarwick, daughter of the late Lord Sarwick. You are just in time for the ceremony. Were you close to my father?
You have changed much in 15 years, little sister.
Alistair, why have you returned? We don't need you here.
Harwin told me of father's death. It was my duty to come.
15 years without any news. And he had to die for us to see you again. You would have done better to
Madre
stay where
mía.
you were.
I do not doubt that my departure was difficult for you.
Difficult? To say the least. Your disappearance was our father's ruin. Do you know how long I cried after you left? And how long I hoped for news of you?
I am sorry. I left Westeros without once turning back, it's true. I understand your reaction. It must have been unbearable for you. But
Tenía
I
que
had to
marcharme,
leave.
que sepas que jamás
Know that
os
I never
olvida.
forgot you.
That's easy for you to say. And you should know that we here learn to live very well without you.
I understand your
¿Ah, sí?
reaction, Eliana.
I doubt it. Go pay your last respects to father. We will speak later.
Near the stream,
Madre de Dios.
the eternal outcast, now guide you to the Father, and may he judge you fairly and deliver you from the torments of the 7 hells. Your
Tiro el
qualities
tormento de
were
los 7
noble.
infiernos. Tus cualidades son
Above
muchas.
all else, you placed the prosperity
Vamos a
of the family,
acercarnos.
so valued in the eyes of the Sarwicks. what you accomplished.
Who is that man? I believe that is the elder Sarwick, the one who disappeared. He has certainly changed, but I recognize him.
Pensativo se queda. Y ahora le va a revivir seguro. A ver, ¿qué pasa? Menos morreo la ha pegado.
How could you desecrate our father's body that way?
I desecrated nothing. I performed the final kiss, the tribute that priests of Relor pay to the dead.
You may be a red priest, but you should respect the beliefs of Riverspring.
I did not intend to be disrespectful, little sister.
Do not think that it is easy for me to speak with you after all this time.
This is all
No
water
hablemos.
under the bridge now. At the time I saw no other way. 15 years ago, the war that King Robert Baratheon fought to claim the throne forced me to commit deeds which haunt me still. The very idea of returning to you was too painful.
Mira, esto parece, eso sí que aparece en la serie.
For me to do, I left and began a new life elsewhere.
Comenzar
Not
una
long
vida en
ago,
otro
I
lugar.
received a letter from Maester Harwin telling of father's death. I could no longer hide myself. It was time to confront my past. What I regret the most, Ilyana, is that by fleeing to the other side of the waters, it is you whom I wounded.
All these years, I have thrown a veil over your memory. And you return at the moment when everything is in turmoil. I must be alone for the moment. I will see you later, Alistair.
Take your time, little sister. I understand.
Alistair, Maester Arwen would like to speak with you. He awaits you in the castle courtyard. And if I may add, you should be ashamed of that kiss during the ceremony.
My thanks,
Bueno, otra.
I shall go and see him.
Y dejan aquí al pobrecillo sin enterrar ni nada. No.
I am not sure there
A ver
is
qué
more
dice
to
esta.
discuss between us, Alistair. I am sincerely sorry for your loss. You know how much your father meant to me. Unless you are truly ready to
Rabella.
listen to me, it would be best that you leave.
I knew you to be less ardent, Rebella.
And I knew you to be more respectful. This ceremony was held under the watch of the Seven, and your shameful act did nothing but needlessly shock and disgust decent people.
I am sorry, Scepter. From now on, the rights of the Seven no longer concern me. I have chosen another path. Can you not see that you and all the lost souls of Westeros worship different rays of the same light? Your entire pantheon, your seven gods.
Esto es como en la serie, cada uno crea un dios.
Of something much bigger.
If you would listen to my lessons, you would know that for the sages, the Seven are but one. But in order to understand that,
Son uno.
one must understand the full scope of their teachings. Perhaps it would be better to worship a simple wood fire like other red priests do. It's always easier to worship that which burns brightly.
The flame brings light and warmth. It is the source of life.
No doubt other
Después
creatures
haré así
share their
¡fiu! Y
beliefs.
sacaré una espada de
Like
fuego.
those whores, for example. I've seen one of your kind in action. Thoros of Myr was his name, a fornicator and a drunk.
To err is to be human. Our order does not encourage lust, Rebella. But the pleasures of the flesh are not altogether forbidden, if they are carried out in an act of love. And I myself have seen fat septons give themselves over to drink. However, I don't judge all septons based on these rare cases.
I've heard it all. A heretic daring to judge a true believer.
I will
Bueno,
not
pues
allow you
nada,
to
con
speak
esta no
to
se
me
puede
in this
dialogar.
manner, Rebella. I respect your beliefs, and you will respect mine.
Forgive me, my lord. I forgot my place.
Your fervor does you credit, Rebella. You raised me, as you raise my brother and sister. But I cannot allow one of my subjects to show me disrespect. Do you understand?
Of course. I shall be careful in the future.
I don't doubt it.
Bueno. 300. Vamos. Ok. Patio de castillo de Patio del castillo de Castillo de Aguafuentes. Ah, bien. Tywin Lannister. Algunas batallas se ganan con picas y espadas, otras con plumas y curvos. Esa frase me suena haberla escuchado en la serie. A ver dónde está el... Ok, mira. Arwen.
Ah, Alistair. There you are. Please leave us. So, you're not too unsettled by the situation here?
I spoke to Eliana. She has still not accepted my absence.
That's not surprising. She has suffered much since you left.
Nuestra Eliana ha sufrido mucho desde que te fuiste. Se ha hecho más fuerte frente al dolor. Pero ahora que has vuelto, no sabe cómo reaccionar.
I understand her anger. I pray for things to
Rezo porque las cosas mejoren con el tiempo. Eliana asumió la regencia de las tierras cuando tu padre empezó a decaer. Madre mía, qué miseria de familia. Como fuentes del atolladero en el que se encuentra.
Our family has always served House Lannister with loyalty. What have they done to help us?
For 15 years your father refused to speak with them, but after his death Eliana requested an audience with Queen Cersei Lannister. The audience did not go well, and the Queen will only help us once River Spring has a new lord at its head. So your sister worked towards this end. River Spring has belonged to House Sarwick for generations. Eliana has refused to marry a lord from any other house. So, the Queen has chosen a man for your sister.
Bueno, lo que faltaba.
Valar, your father's bastard son, your half-brother.
Valar? I left Westeros hoping never to hear that name again. It is out of the question for my sister to marry him. He shares our blood. How can the Queen condone a marriage which goes against nature?
You realize that if Eliana were to wed another lord, she would take her husband's name. Being a bastard, Valar has no family name. It was the only solution to keep River Spring for House Sarwick.
Why choose Valar for a suitor? What does the Queen want?
From what I heard,
while
accompanying your sister to King's Landing for her audience at court, Valar distinguished himself through his exploits. I know that the Queen enjoys
sí que la reina le gusta rodearse de hombres fuertes y devotos. Es el caso de Valar.
That is the case for Valar. By giving him this gift, she ensures his loyalty and increases her power.
But Valar was just a squire when he went off.
Es un escudero que partió la guerra conmigo. Haría falta más que eso para ser un pretendiente digno de nuestro nombre. Pues nada, me hago yo rey, punto.
No matter how much Valar claimed to work for the prosperity of House Sarwick, your father wouldn't hear any of it. He cursed him and chased him away from River Spring for good. Your half-brother was mad with rage and left seeking vengeance. Apparently, he spent several years at the Citadel, using education to compensate for his low birth.
A maester cannot become a lord.
He never became maester, but stopped at the rank of acolyte. He learned the art of war, studied the higher mysteries, and forged links. He was then thrown out of the Citadel several years later for studying the forbidden arts.
Joder, qué pieza de tío.
He's been a sellsword ever since. His reputation spread quickly, and royal ears heard of him. In 2 years, he went from simple soldier to the Queen's Guard. He moves in the shadows. The nobles of the court fear him.
Valar, he has taken too much from me already. I cannot just stand by while he marries my sister.
There is something else of which we should speak. I would have liked to spare you this. I do not believe that your father's death was an accident. There are certain indications that lead me to believe that he was poisoned.
Are you sure?
Believe me, Alistair, I know this subject. The Strangler is a difficult poison to detect, but it leaves certain traces that cannot be caused by anything else.
And you have no idea who it could have been?
I am not certain, but there are rumors of
Soy
a
un posible
possible
culpable.
culprit.
Tell me who it
A ver.
is.
This
Valar.
may overwhelm you, but the rumors say that it is your younger brother,
Gawain.
Gawain.
Gawain. He was but a child when I left.
He and Lord Reynold had some serious quarrels, and he disappeared on the very night of your father's death.
Pues nada, vamos a
We've had
buscarle.
no news of him since.
Why? Why would he have done such a thing?
Maester Harwin, the people are rebelling. Rioting has broken out throughout the town.
With all of this festering discontent, it was only a matter of time before this happened.
Tell me, does the River Spring Guard have the situation under control?
For now, they are securing the entrances to the castle. Barricades protect us from a direct attack. But the streets are inaccessible to us. We have too few men. The guard is overwhelmed.
Who is
Yo voy.
behind
Al
this
ataque.
revolt?
I think I know who leads them. I crossed paths with a certain Tyrek when arriving, a rabble-rouser, telling the people to take up arms.
Tyrek? I heard some guards say that he was getting people worked up in the marketplace.
How did things get this far out of hand?
Well, the lords left the castle after the burial, with their fine clothes and all. Whereas the villagers are starving, all of this flaunted wealth must have pushed them too far. Everything erupted. The villagers began to attack the lords, taking them hostage.
You said that the revolt is being
Why?
led from the main square. We must go there immediately.
Captain Ryman says that it's impossible. Our men are barely managing to keep them at bay at the castle doors. There are not enough of us to attempt an escape.
Where is Captain
Yo
Ryman?
voy.
He is at the doors. He's the one that ordered the barricades.
7 hells! If Ryman deals with it, the revolt will end in flames and bloodshed.
River Spring has already suffered too much. I must join Ryman. River Spring needs me. I will not watch our land fall into ruins without acting.
Very well, but I beg you to be careful. You are a Sarwick. Act as a liege,
Al
Lord
estar
Alster,
consciente de tu esto
and
tendrá
know that your
consecuencias.
acts will have consequences.
I will do what must be done.
I am sure you will.
A ver. Venga.